feels so good to be back. Hello there, friend. UFL Jim here with the 2025 season preview. Let's just take a moment before we even get into anything and appreciate that we've made it this far. It's been a bumpy road. There's been a long off season, but finally there are games to talk about. And I, for one, am very aroused. I guess, of course, we have to address the immediate elephant in the room, all the off-season rigmarole, what have you. We have the players potentially threatening to strike. I don't think anything is that serious as of now, and regardless, there's still a divide between the players and the higher ups at the UFL, the brass, so to speak. And it's been causing a lot of commotion within the community, a lot of theories, a lot of rumors going around. It's just all very messy. I'm even thinking about bringing in Investigator Jim just to get to the bottom of it. But right now, it's time to focus on football. And even then, this week, the week of our season beginning, we have coaching news. Reggie Barlow, the DC Defenders head coach, is out of here. He's headed to Tennessee State along with, it seems, a majority of his staff. And you know what? We call the UFL a league of opportunity. That means not just for players, but also for coaches. Yes, it really sucks that this is happening literally the week of the first game of the season. But honestly, that's kind of how coaching works. You get the job, things move very quickly. It feels like we're a group of 5 college football team in, say, the MAC, the Conference of Champions. But our coach is leaving us to coach some damn Big Ten team. And the Big Ten's team coach, they left in like January or February, so they were scrambling, and now one of our coaches is being plucked right before our eyes. And also, on top of it, the Memphis Showboats head coach, Ken Wisenut, is also out. He left for personal reasons. I'm not going to, I'm going to leave that be. I've dealt with many of personal reasons myself, but it throws the league into a bit of a chaotic whirlwind right before the season beginning. And you know what? I don't care. I don't care about any of it because we have real, legitimate UFL football happening this Friday. And that is really all that matters. Before we get to the here and now of it, week 1, there are a couple big storylines that I'd like to go over regarding the league as a whole. A couple more sort of sprung up out of nowhere. Number 1, I want to see how the 2 teams whose head coaches left kind of right the ship and see what happens there, if they sort of just fall apart chaotically or if they can kind of make something happen and maybe even still make some noise in the playoff picture. Who knows? I am excited to see the unfolding of the DC Defenders and the Memphis Showboat season, even more so than I already was, because I was excited for both these teams going forward. Storyline number 2, can the Birmingham Stallions keep this level of excellence afloat? I believe they haven't lost more than 2 games in a season for their entire modern existence, which is baffling. Absolutely baffling. It might even only be, they're averaging like 1 loss a season. It's something insane. But can they keep this level of dominance going? I have no doubt that they can win a championship. That is unquestionable at this point. They've shown that they will probably be playing in the championship. They're the odds-on favorite. They have great players. They bring back the 2023 USFL MVP. They have the best coach. It's just stacks on stacks on stacks on stacks for the Birmingham Stallions, and I don't see that changing. But there were some close games last year. There was a couple close calls. And I wonder how long they can go without maybe dropping, say, 2 or 3 games in a season. Maybe they drop 3. They can still easily be in the playoff picture and win a championship with 3 losses. It's not out of the realm of possibility, but can they stay at this level of dominance? And then my other storyline is, what do we see for like the last hurrahs of some of these guys, like a Luis Perez, a Jordan Ta'amu, guys who have been in spring football since like the AAF that are getting up there. Is it like, obviously it's worth it because it's the UFL, it's the Premier League, it's the best thing you can do with your life. But when do these guys start to transition where maybe they're not going to reach the NFL? Maybe they just should go into coaching, or maybe they should just write out the UFL their entire career, because guess what? You get the privilege of playing in the UFL. Yes, you should be paid, UL. Yes, you should have health insurance, but it's still a privilege. This is my league after all. If you have problems, you can talk with me. But I want to know if there's like a turning of the guard, so to speak. Like if there's a handing of the torch to some of these newer players that are getting shots in the United Football League. That's a very exciting storyline that I haven't heard a ton of people talk about. Going from the storylines, that kind of brings me to the players to look out for. A couple like players that I'm excited to see coming into this season that I think will be very standout players. Some of these guys have been in spring football leagues for a while. Some of these guys are brand new. I'm excited for a bunch of different reasons. Starting off at number 1, I have Davion Clayton for the Arlington Renegades, wide receiver position. The Renegades are in need of a couple, maybe like a third option. They have 2 great guys in Sal Cannella and Tyler Vaughn that Luke Perez seems to like really love going after. But Clayton has a special ability. I think he adds an extra layer of speed that the Renegades might be missing. I'm excited to see what they do with him, scheming him up. Keep your eye out on him. Number 2, Anthony Brown for Houston in the quarterback position. He played at Oregon. He had some good seasons. I'm very excited to see what he does with Houston. I don't love the whole staff for the Roughnecks, but I like him. I like a lot of pieces they've added around him. I think they can make some noise here. I think people are sleeping on the Houston Roughnecks. I think they're a little bit more dangerous than people are giving them credit for. And number 3, it's Jonathan Adams on the Showboats. I understand the whole chaotic situation going on in Memphis right now, but I think Jonathan Adams is a rock. I think if you get a guy, if you clean up that offensive line and you kind of get a guy like E.J. Perry, maybe make some things happen, I think a guy like Jonathan Adams can be a rock on this offense to rely on. A very consistent target. I think we might see a boom year from old Jonathan Adams. Maybe make your own beer too. Like there's a Sam Adams, there should be a Jonathan Adams. It should be delicious. I would bathe in it, and it would be very, very nice. Number 4, Ja'Cour Pearson. I'm sticking with the receivers. I'm an exciting guy. I crave excitement. St. Louis has such a wide, like, bath of talent. Like, you could just sit in the bathtub and just overflow it with the amount of skill position talent that the St. Louis Battlehawks possess. I feel like last year, Ja'Cour Pearson gets lost in the sauce. A.J. McCarron's favorite target, obviously, is Hakeem Butler. Why wouldn't it be? The dude's a giant. In the UFL, he has hands of just glue. But you got a guy like Ja'Cour Pearson. He was awesome for the Sea Dragons 2 years ago. And he's still there. He's a fantastic number 2 option. And in this offense, he might even be number 3. But he'll sneak around. And I think if people are keying in on guys like Butler, on guys like Sailors, he's going to make some noise. And I like Pearson to just break out and have a great season. And last but not least, Greedy Williams. My man. My man Greedy. Dude, this guy. The fact that they let Wade Phillips and the San Antonio Brahmas get Greedy Williams, he's going to be good. I don't give a shit about anything else. He's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Just look, watch. That's all you need to know. Watch his highlights. Watch anything from Greedy. This guy is so good. He's so dang good. And we're going to see it this season. I'm so hyped to see Greedy Williams and just battle it out with some of the great receivers in this league. We get to see them go up against St. Louis twice. We get to see them go up against Birmingham at least once. It's going to be such a fun time watching him play in this league. All right, folks, we've entered the portion of the preview where I'm doing individual team previews, breaking it down team by team in a way only UFL Jim can. Let's start off, of course, alphabetically with the Arlington Renegades, coached by Bob Stoops. The interesting thing about Bob Stoops is he wears his headset for approximately 2.5 minutes per game. That's a very fun stat for you. They are quarterbacked by Luis Perez and maybe a little bit of Holton Ahlers. This is kind of like Perez's last go of it. I think we're all in agreement there. I think the consensus is this is like the last little bit that he's going to try and just boom, win the championship and sail off into the sunset to be a professional bowler or just like a league guy. He strikes me as the kind of guy that would just sort of kill it in league play and maybe win a couple trips here and there. I'm excited. At running back, I just kind of have a couple players I wanted to highlight for each team. So we have Caitlin Balaj from Arizona State. He's been a hurt dude. I mean, obviously, drafted by San Antonio 22, released by him last year. He's had his moments, but I think he makes for a very interesting weapon when you put him in this Renegades roster. I'm tentatively excited to see what he can do. Obviously, guys like Tyler Vaughn, Sal Cannella, they need... What more can you say about these guys that almost any other person in the spring football community hasn't said already? Sal Cannella, pass-catching machine. Tyler Vaughn's has been a staple for Perez since he's been in Arlington. They hook up all the time. It's very, I'm going to say nice. I'm going to use the word nice there. And I'm excited for Davion Clayton to get the go-ahead here. I think he's just a super wild card on this roster. He's fast as hell. He really hasn't played any football since high school. He got drafted by Vegas in the XFL in 22, but he got released before the season began. So I haven't really seen anything of him. I like the upside he brings, but I don't know. It's going to be a very fun wild card to see for the Renegades. Curtis Hodges, too. Another tight end. Can't hurt this mix. Sal Cannella is like the pass-catching guy. Maybe Hodges can get some time in there. I'm very excited to see how they play out. Offensive line, Ricky Lee. Dude he's a little light. But I think the fact that he was getting looks from a lot of NFL teams, I like the signing here. I like the go ahead and get him. Mark Evans also for the Renegades. He was drafted by Birmingham last year. And, I like him. Played a tackle in college. He's a interesting prospect. I think it could be a nice little piece for the Renegades here. Davion Nixon, I worry if when he breaks through the lines that he's going to over pursue. That's my big worry with him. And then Chris Odom. Oh my God. The fact that Houston even let him go blows my mind. I have no idea how they let this happen. Dude is crazy, and I think the Renegades will use him right. They will use him the right way. I am very excited to see what they do on the defensive front now that they got a guy like Chris Odom. Story Jackson, of course, beautiful for the Renegades. Ajeen Harris, great cornerback. Not really too much you can say about the guy. Jaden Price, I'm excited. I mean, he's been around a little bit. He was signed by Birmingham. They tried to go for him, but they just didn't see something they liked. And then all of a sudden, then we got Nico Bolden, little Kent State action baby, the St. Louis man. But guess what? Now he's in fucking Arlington. Special teams. It's Lucas. It's Lucas Haversick. He's got the leg to make bombs. He just needs to clean up some of his accuracy in the mid-long range. Like the 40 to 48 yarders. I think he'll be really good in this league. Moving on to the Birmingham Stallions. Head coach Skip Holtz, the man. They got Alex Magoo back. Guess what? He was the best quarterback they've had. He's a stud. He can throw it. He can run it. Alex Magoo is a friggin' stud. And then to back him up, guess what? They got Matt Corral, one of the better parts of their team last year, and Case Cookus as the third string. Oh boy. Oh boy. In my notes here, I have Case Cookus. I was going to put Matt Corral, but we saw last year what he could do. And like the replacement, if both somehow Alex Magoo and Matt Corral get hurt, is Case Cookus. The fact that that's there for the Stallions is disgusting. Running back, Ricky Person Jr., good signing. I think, like, every single thing you can say about the Stallions, I'm just going to do one word for him. Ricky Person Jr., great. CJ Marable, great. Deion Kane at wide receiver, great. Amari Rogers, he will probably be great. Like, he is great. He is great. Jay Sternberger, great. We know this about all these guys. Great, great, great. Jaron Jones on tackle, great. Keaton Sutherland, great. Cole Schneider, great. Love the stash, by the way, my man. Carlos Davis, great. All UFL D linemen last year. Ronnie Perkins, great. He's going to be great. I'm sorry. He's going to be great. He's one of my favorite standout guys to watch out for. And the fact that he's on the Stallions just makes that even more likely. Kava Tezino. I'm sorry. I'm terrible with names. But Tezino is just great. Tay Crowder, great. You look at this fucking Stallions roster, and it's disgusting. Steven Gilmore, great. He has all the skill in the world. His body leaves a little bit to desire, but he's going to be great. Daniel Ism, he's probably going to be fine. AJ Thomas, good. And then they have Mevis, like Harrison Mevis. We know he can bomb it. Can he keep the accuracy up, dude? I don't know. It's the Stallions. DC Defenders, I'm going to go by how horny they make me. Jordan Tamu. This year, fairly horny, even with the coaching move. Spencer Sanders, moderately aroused. Abram Smith, rock hard. Rock hard for Abram Smith. Ty Scott, half chub. Cornell Powell, a question mark. My dick somehow transforms into a question mark because I am intrigued. Someone who didn't really get to show themselves in college. I am intrigued. Bradley Moore at tight end. You know what? Sure. He's got little stubby T-Rex arms, but it's still cute. He's a cute guy. Give me a little quarter chub. Mason Brooks, offensive line. Oh, yeah. Now we're getting to these. Tykeem Doss. He's so fucking massive. 6'5", 378. You're telling me you're going to push through that? Are you kidding me? Joseph Wallace from Sam Houston State. Boom. He's got a nice body. A little short, a little on the short side, 5'10". They listed 5'10 and a half. Being a little generous there. Dalvin Bellamy, a name that we've talked about forever. But I love the guy. I'm going to give him about a 2/3 chub. Shane Simon gets it moving. You feel it nudge a little bit. Momo Sinogo, I think he's going to be a leader. He's going to have to at this point with how fucking weird this whole team's going to be. I'm going to give it another question mark. DeAndre Baker, boom. He's so good. He's a stud cornerback. Oh, full chub. Full chub for Baker. Keandre Thomas, love it. He was pretty good for Houston. I think DC can use him. I'm going to give him a 1/3 chub. And Bryce Thompson. I mean, pretty good. You never want to disparage players, but he's pretty good. I don't know if he's great, but he's pretty good. Special teams, Matt McCrane. I've liked Matt McCrane for a while. I liked him in the XFL in 2020. I liked him in DC. He's just been there kind of for a while now. So I like Matt McCrane. He's just kind of, I think at this point in his career, he's 30 years old. I think he might just be like a UFL lifer, which is a great thing to be. Many of us should aspire to be a UFL lifer. And for Matt McCrane to do that, Congratulations. On to the Houston Roughnecks, head coached by Curtis Johnson. I'm going to go by how intrigued and hopeful I am for these players. Nolan Henderson. I feel like we've seen him. So, obviously, love these FCS guys. He was great at Delaware. I suspect he'll get some time. We saw him split last year, but I think he'll get a little bit more this year. The big guy, and we know where they're starting with him, is Anthony Brown. He's a gunslinger. He has all the confidence in the world. Sometimes he doesn't have all the tools to make do on that confidence, but I love it either way. I'm excited to see Anthony Brown play. Still young, 26, not anything. I am so hyped to see him play. At running back, we got Kirk Merritt. We got Lorenzo Leonard. I'm excited for this running back room. I think Merritt is... I'm going to give him a 7 on the intrigue scale. Just because I like him in the receiver spot. He showed a little bit last year. Maybe we get to see some explosion out of him with an actual quarterback that Houston just didn't really have last year. Wide receiver Kiki Chisholm. Mwah. Mwah. He's been with the team forever. And we kind of know what he is. He's physical. He's good at catching the ball. I don't know what he does really much after catching the ball. But I like him, and he's one of those guys you just love seeing around. Josh Peterson, he needs some improvement. But guess what? I love his size. I like what I've seen of his skill. And then we go on to the offensive lineman. Oh, yeah, baby. Jack Kramer, sounds like a Seinfeld character. I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10 on excited. Avery Jones, love it. Shaquille Brown on the defensive line with TJ Franklin. Sounds like a GTA character, and I love that in the man. Jeremiah Tyler. Like what he's done so far, but dude, I don't know, man. He's been up and down and up and down and up and down. But that's kind of Houston as a whole. Back when they were the Gamblers, and now when they're the Roughnecks, it's just sort of how it is. Corn Elder. That is someone from Nebraska. You must respect the Corn Elder. It's a fantastic name. I love the attitude. I love the wildness he plays with. The only thing I don't love is the size. I think he could get taken advantage of in this league by some of the bigger dudes, but he's going to punch him right in the neck, and he is an elder. He's 30. But damn it, I'm going to be rooting for him every step of the way. Damon Arnett from Ohio State. He's got great physical traits. A little bit on the taller side. Actually, not. He's 6 foot, but whatever. He's got good arms, and man, if he can clean up his coverage, he's going to be so fucking hot. And then they got Chris Blewett for the kicker, which all-time name for a kicker, by the way, is Blewett. It's mwah, mwah. For the Showboats, we have head coach Jim Turner. We have quarterback E.J. Perry. I assume they're going to go Perry here. He looked fairly good in Michigan for the stints. The whole quarterback situation for the Panthers last year was a huge mess. But I liked what E.J. Perry showed. Then you had Troy Williams. Careful. He just doesn't wow me, He's check down Troy. He's take it easy Troy. He's weekend Wyland. No, he's not weekend Wyland Troy. I think taking it easy Troy is the name I'm going to go with. Then at running back, Generic Prince, more like Generic Prince, because he is you got Fruity Pebbles, and then you have the other not Kellogg brand Fruity Pebbles, but sometimes that brand tastes better. That's what Generic Prince is going to be. And you have Jacob Kibodi. Oh, like a nice Qdoba. You get the bowl, you get the Kibodi, and then you just... And then, of course, at wide receiver, it's Jonathan Adams, the dude, the man, the myth, the legend. USFL Jim can talk for hours and hours about Jonathan Adams and the 2023 season that he had. It was something awesome. He's got a good size. He can ball. We know he can ball. And then J.D. Dorenzo. Nice little guard there. Just you're not getting through this. This is what Lorenzo does. And then O'Shea Douglas. That is an offensive line name if ever I have heard one. That is disgusting. Thank you, Memphis. Thank you, Showboats. On to the defense. It's Boogie Roberts. It's the mayor. He's going to come to your town, punch your mayor in the stomach, leave him crying, and then bang his wife. Because that's what Boogie Roberts does. He just fucks all day, all night. He's slinging it like the main character in Boogie Nights. That's just what he does. Oh my God, I'm so excited to see him play. And then they got Steel Chambers at linebacker. I'm liking this Memphis team. I'm liking what the defense is looking like here. Oh my God, Lance Boykin, Teddy Adewusi. Showboats. Kicker, they got Matt Conklin. And, you know, he's pretty good. He was one of the better kickers last year. One of the better kickers in the UFL. On to the Panthers. Head coach Mike Nolan. Quarterback Bryce Perkins. Like the breakfast establishment. Trash. Except Bryce Perkins, not trash. He's actually pretty good. I like the dual threat ability he brings to the table. And man, he can bomb it when he needs to. I'm just hoping he cleans up his intermediate accuracy a little bit, because I do not want to see this team go to Danny Etling. I just don't. Okay? We've seen it. We know it. I'm just over it. They got Matt Colburn at running back. Mwah. Mwah. He's good. He's a rock on offense. And I think with a dual threat quarterback like Perkins, having a steady guy like Colburn is going to help the Panthers quite a bit. Guy I'm excited for here, Saoirse Mariner. Love having a guy who's proven in a league like the CFL. He's got great size, can catch the ball pretty damn easily. And you know what? He had a pretty decent season last year, and a season filled with quarterback turmoil. Also excited for Hicatini. Who wouldn't be? He's an end zone threat every single time you enter the red zone, and that's just mwah. That's just chef's fucking kiss right there, baby. On to the defense. It's the D-line that we're talking about. It is Breland Speaks. It is Walter Palmore. It is pure sexual D-line energy, and not in the consensual kind, because they're going to come all over your face with their giant fists punching you in the mouth. I don't know where I was going with this analogy. I don't know where I am with it, but we're bringing it home because at linebacker, Frank Ginda is going to smack you right on your fucking face and right on your behind because you've been a bad boy. Frank Ginda going to come bend you over his knee because that's what Ginda does, baby. Donovan Moon going to be awesome. The cornerback situation leaves a little bit to be desired. They have a lot of guys with potential. Gillespie, I like him. I respect him. But I don't know, man. A lot of these guys, I'm just sort of wait and see, high ceiling, low floor. But the front's going to be BT Potter has some big shoes to fill, by the way. Jake Swinging Dick Bates, the baiter. BT Potter, great name to say, rolls off the tongue. I want to see him bomb some kicks. On to the San Antonio Brahmas, head coach by Wade Phillips, Papa Wade. Again, Kellen Mond is the guy. I've said it time and time again. I think this is an improvement at the quarterback position. I expect Kellen Mond to maybe actually show some effort and not care about getting hit. I think he has all the capability in the world. I think he has good dual threat ability, and I love him in an A.J. Smith style offense. Speaking of which, running back John Lovett. So glad he's back. So glad Lovett's back because he runs so mad. He runs so damn angry at receiver. John Trey Kirkland. You don't fuck with Kirkland brand. It's just as good, if not better, than most other name brands. So John Trey Kirkland, watch the hell out. I'm so excited. I'm expecting big things from him this season. Elise Mack, it's the tight end is not a huge part of this offense, but he could be fun. He could be fun. We got guys like Garrett Nelson on the defense, Rashard Lawrence. I like what they have. Obviously, the defense. I think we've kind of like stamped the defense as just being pretty darn good in San Antonio because of Wade. And I don't expect that to change when you pick up guys like Greedy Williams. It's insane how good this guy is and how he somehow found his way into the UFL. I would not be surprised if Greedy Williams is like a top 3 cornerback in the league this season. I love him so much. Kicker, Donald Destroying De La Haye. Big social media guy. We know he can kick, at least decently. Just needs to learn how to tackle a little bit. He can do banger kicks. I don't know. We haven't seen so much under pressure because he got knocked out so early last season. But I don't know. I think he's fine. I think he's pretty good. He's not all world. He's not the best. He's definitely not the worst. I think he's fine. I think he gets a little too much hate. And to be fair, he is kind of annoying sometimes, but I think he's fine. On to the St. Louis Battlehawks, head coached by Anthony Becht. They got a quarterback duel thing going on. This week, they're doing Manny Wilkins, Max Duggan duel situation. I like Manny Wilkins a lot. He's got a very nice release from, if you go back and watch his Arizona State times, he knows the system. Even with new coordinators coming in, I like him. I like what he can do. I can just see him. I can picture Manny Wilkins absolutely killing it with this Battlehawks roster. Max Duggan, what more can you say? The dude has it. He doesn't have all the measurables. He doesn't have all the talent in the world, but he has this like weird, intangible thing that just gets people to rally around him and win. And it's so fun to watch. That year he had with TCU. Wow, God. At the very least, even if you weren't rooting for TCU, it was entertaining as hell every single week. Jacob Sailors. So good to have him back. Especially when you're breaking in some new quarterbacks. It's nice to have a reliable running back like Sailors. Just so good. And then these wide receivers. You have a guy like Hakeem Butler. The biggest dude in the league, it feels like. And I don't know what it is when he's in the NFL, he can't catch nothing. But when he's in the UFL, he's got hands of glue. Because he's catching everything. It's a sight to behold. Then you got guys like Frank Darby. He's had a connection with Wilkins from Arizona State days. I think he could be a good, little comfortable target for your fantasy people out there. So keep an eye on him. And then you got Ja'Cour Pearson. Their pass catching situation is an embarrassment of riches. It is, if the quarterback situation works out in St. Louis, there is no reason this offense shouldn't be putting up bananas points week in and week out. And then Jake Sutherland's your safety net once you get close to the end zone. Another beautiful tight end who's just been in spring football forever. Great locker room presence, and he's just so reliable when he needs to be. Love that man. Love him. Love him. The defense for St. Louis, maybe they'll be able to keep up. I like guys like Willie Harvey. I like Chris Payton-Jones. I like Lucas Dennis. But the defense overall, if the offense starts clicking, I worry that the pace is going to hurt the St. Louis defense a little bit. Yeah, the defense was middle of the pack for St. Louis last year, but a lot of the guys are back. So, I don't know. I'm intrigued to see how they do. And the kicker, they got goggles. They got Mr. Rodrigo Blankenship. He's got all the swag in the world. I just don't think he can kick it that long. He strikes me as a guy that might be ending up being a UFL lifer. Because it feels like in the NFL nowadays, at least from the 1-year sample size, that you had to be able to bomb it downfield to do anything. Otherwise, they don't want you. So I think he might just be a guy that finds the right spot here in the UFL. And those are your UFL Jim team previews for 2025. And of course, that'll lead us to my playoff predictor and championship decision. This took a lot of brain power. It took a lot of thinking here. But I decided to go against my gut and against my brain and go with my balls. So, in the XFL conference, I have a Texas showdown. I have a rematch from week 1. I have the San Antonio Brahmas versus the Arlington Renegades. This game will be so much fun. I just feel like Kellen Mond's an upgrade at quarterback for the Brahmas. I trust Wade as one of the top coaches in the league. This defense is going to be something amazing. We saw that their run game was fantastic, and I feel like if they get a quarterback who's not hurt for most of the season, they get consistent quarterback play, they will be a force to be reckoned with. For the Renegades, I think this is Perez's last hurrah. I think Stoops kind of like gets back into feeling themselves. I like a lot of moves they did on defense. I think the Renegades are going to be a great team this season. In the USFL conference, I have the Stallions versus the Panthers. That's right. I'm doing it. The Showboats are a little bit too much of a mess. I think Houston, while improved, I think they missed the playoffs. Maybe things can change, but I think it is a rematch of the Stallions versus the Panthers. The Panthers' defense is going to be unquestionably one of the top ones in the league. Offense, I think with Perkins fully at the helm, takes a very nice step up. If they just saw any consistent quarterback play last year, they would have been so much better. And I think we see that this year. The Stallions, it's just, they've proved it. They're going to keep proving it. And you can't not have them in the playoffs. You might, maybe in a one-game situation, you can have them missing the championship game. You cannot have the Birmingham Stallions missing the playoffs. That's just stupid. Now, out of both of these conferences, I'm going to have the Renegades get the win over the Brahmas, surprisingly. Very surprisingly. And I'm going to have the Panthers over the Stallions. The Stallions finally fall, don't get their 4th in a row. It has to happen to someone eventually. All empires must fall. And then finally, in the Renegades versus Panthers matchup, I have the Arlington Renegades winning the 2nd season of the UFL. Luis Perez retiring. Bob Stoops actually puts on the headset, coaches a great game, and the Renegades are your champion. So those are my balls predictions. Let's see what my head and gut say right now for my UFL Jim power rankings, baby. At number 8 is the Memphis Showboats. They were a mess last year. I suspected it was going to take them a little bit of time to get revved up this season, even more so now with their head coach leaving. So they sit nicely at number 8. At number 7, it is the Houston Roughnecks. I don't trust the head coach. If any team could have lost a head coach, it could have been this team, and I would have maybe even bumped them up. As it stands right now, I love what they have at quarterback. I like a lot of their pieces, but I need to see it right now. So they're going to be at number 7. At number 6, right, these three are kind of all neck and neck. I have the DC Defenders losing everything. They honestly, you know what? Let's flip it up, baby, with the new news information. At number 8, give me the DC Defenders. Just complete chaos. Don't know what's going on. They're in the dumpster. At number 7, it's the Memphis Showboats. Complete chaos. Who knows what's going on? They're in the dumpster. At number 6, it is the Houston Roughnecks. Prove it to me. Prove it to me. At number 5, it is the St. Louis Battlehawks. I just need to see a quarterback. I know they're running a 2-quarterback system right now. Don't love that. I need to see something from them. At number 4, I'm going to go with the Arlington Renegades. I know what I'm getting. I'm getting something pretty good. They were in a lot of close games, and I think they can maybe get a good step up. Number 3, it's the Panthers. Defense just speaks for itself. I think we see an improvement at quarterback, and I like where this team is at. However, at number 2, we have the Brahmas. I like their quarterback situation a lot more than what they had last year. I love the defense. I love the coaching, and we saw them be clutch when it mattered. Like this team, they get the moments, especially during the regular season. Championship game, scrap that. They get the moments. And then number 1, it's the Birmingham Stallions. They are number 1 until they aren't, folks. That's just kind of how it works at this point. We know what to expect. So once again, we're going Defenders, Showboats, Roughnecks, Battlehawks, Renegades, Panthers, Brahmas, and Stallions. Those are the power rankings. Go fuck yourself if you think you're wrong. All right, folks, that'll lead me into my picks for week 1. What a slate. Friday night, we have the Battlehawks versus the Roughnecks. Battlehawks are 6-point favorites here. Over under 37.5. And again, this is the Battlehawks at the Roughnecks. This one's fun. In Houston. Back to TDCU. 6 is a lot of points. I'm excited for this matchup. I'm excited to see which quarterback sort of takes hold for St. Louis. I'm very excited to see Brown for Houston. 37.5 seems a little high for week 1. I'm going to say the Battlehawks fall here, similarly to how they fell week 1 to the Panthers last season. I think the Roughnecks get the win 17 to 12. 17 to 12. Roughnecks win. Saturday afternoon, baby. A nice 3 p.m. game. We have the Brahmas versus the Renegades. The Battle of Texas. A battle of Texas. Brahmas here. 3-point favorites. Road favorites going on in the United Football League. Over under 37 plus 130 on the money line for your Renegades. The Renegades have a very decent shot here. But again, they're a team that sort of starts the season slow. Wade gets those clutch moves. I think the Brahmas get the win here. I think it's a close one, though. I think it's San Antonio Brahmas 24, Arlington Renegades 22. Sunday, doubleheader, 11 a.m. God's time, Central Time. Let's be honest here. You have the Michigan Panthers versus the Memphis Showboats. Showboats are in like complete chaos right now. Panthers, they're going to go with Perkins. I think this is a very low-scoring game. I think the Panthers win this one 20 to, 7. 20 to 7. I think the Panthers win very comfortably. Actually, no, you know what? No, because I'm rooting for no blowouts. But it's so hard. I'm going to say the Panthers win this one. 13-10. Panthers 13, Showboats 10. Stallions Defenders. 2 p.m., a nice afternoon Sunday. Sit down with the family, get a couple wines in you, watch some Stallions versus Defenders. It's the DC home opener. The people will probably be more excited if their head coach and the entire staff were fully invested, but either way, I like the pieces DC has, but Birmingham's going to come in. They're going to roll. I worry. I worry that the rails can fall off without the coaching situation in DC. Maybe Defenders keep it close early, but I feel like Birmingham kind of pulls away late, similar to how they did it with the Renegades last season in their opener. I think the Stallions score almost at will. I think the Stallions get 30 plus points. Let's say Birmingham Stallions 33, DC Defenders, give them a 17. Yeah, those are your scores. Those are my predictions for week 1. I'm going out on a limb. I'm being a little reckless here, but those are the scores, okay? Okay, you want my gambling advice? Watch Spring Fever. I don't give a shit about the spread. I'm excited for these games. They get me off. I'm going to be pantsless. I'm going to be shirtless. I'm going to be just feeling myself in a nice vat of butter. That's the best way to watch the UFL. If you don't believe me, you don't like football.